A very good evening to you. I'm Lisa Lord, and in our news, the media being asked to help combat childhood obesity. The Fair Trading Commission says sanctioning the BWA is a tough call. Better online copyright protection for local artists coming. And in sports, the Zouks move from last to playoff contention in the CPL.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC Newsnight, starting now.
And in our top story, private and public sector media houses have been called in to help fight the scourge of childhood obesity affecting the country. It's coming from the Minister of Information, Broadcasting and Public Affairs, Senator Lucille Moe, during a workshop held by the Heart and Stroke Foundation. Sharika Griffith tells us more.
Media houses in Barbados are being encouraged to use their various platforms to educate and sensitize the public about the dangers associated with childhood obesity. Minister of Information, Broadcasting and Public Affairs, Senator Lucille Moe, has already pledged that the broadcast agencies falling under her ministry, namely the CBC and the Government Information Service, will continue to do their part. And she's asking all other media houses to get on board.
We need total buy-in from all sectors, government, civil society, and private sector, if we are to realize the objectives of reducing the prevalence of childhood obesity by 5% by the end of this year, 2019. Therefore, not only the public sector media agencies, but the private sector media houses must embrace this as their commitment too.
Minister Moe made the appeal during an orientation session on the prevention of childhood obesity for media managers. CEO of the Heart and Stroke Foundation, Michelle Daniel, revealed that over 73% of children consume at least one sweet drink each day. She says from next week, the Barbados Childhood Obesity Prevention Coalition will either be banning or restricting the sale of sugar-sweetened beverages in 6 model schools.
Monitoring and evaluation of the whole exercise and thereafter see how it can work, because at some point in time it will become bigger than us, and that's why it's important for us to have the various ministries on board, including the Ministry of Education, Technological and Educational Training, actually as a side, a partner arm in arm with us, because at some point in time we may have to say it's a national thing and it goes beyond the foundation.
Meantime, the Pan American Health Organization's advisor on non-communicable diseases and mental health, Dr. Eliza Prieto, says childhood obesity violates children's human rights.
It also causes psychological, emotional problems, reduced educational attainment, and what this really means is that our children, because of obesity, are seeing how their physical, social, and psychological well-being is being undermined. And this is a clear violation of the rights of children.
It's estimated that at least 31% of Barbadian children are either overweight or obese. Sharika Griffith, CBC News.
The Fair Trading Commission is between a rock and a hard place when it comes to regulating the Barbados Water Authority. That's according to Director of Utilities Regulation, Dr. Marcia Atherley Akechi, and she was responding to questions from the media in relation to possible compensation for people who have endured significant periods of water outages but are still being billed. Dr. Atherley Akechi says that the FTC has set certain standards of service for the authority, including reimbursement when those standards are not met. But the BWA's current financial position is making enforcement hard.
That does not mean that Barbados Water Authority is not held accountable for that service and providing a certain service level of service delivery. What we do not want to do is to impose a hardship on the utility such that it cannot meet or is even further burdened in meeting its obligations. So it is a balancing act that has to be struck, and it was determined at the time that they were not in a position to be able to offer, at least in the short term, to be able to offer consumers that were adversely impacted by a shortfall in their service delivery any compensation.
Dr. Adali Akechi says the FDC continues to monitor the BWA's operations and interjects when necessary, but the Commission has to make a decision in the interest of the wider public. Well, the new Controller of Customs says there is no place for corruption at the Customs and Excise Department. Owen Holder, who was the featured speaker at the Barbados Chamber of Commerce and Industries luncheon at the Lloyd Erskine Sandiford Center yesterday, sounded a warning to business leaders that corruption in customs will not be tolerated. Mr. Holder says in-depth monitoring will be done of those businesses receiving incentives and concessions. He says government's revenue and integrity must be protected.
So there may be cases where officers may be encouraged, I'm very careful, to not facilitate, but to do something for them because something might be backlogged in the queue, right? And the officers do it, and they say, like, hold a drink, and all that kind of thing. I know that gifts in the customs or in the government environment is limited to, I think, $30 or something like that. I can't remember the total, but it's very small. So I am saying that going forward, integrity issues falls on customs, but it falls on you as well.
The intellectual property rights of Barbadian creatives who share their work online will soon be better protected. This as Barbados has acceded to the World Intellectual Property Office's Copyright Performances and Phonograms Treaties, which will come into force on December the 13th. The instruments were officially submitted by the island's ambassador to the United Nations and other international organizations at Geneva, His Excellency Chad Blackman, in an official ceremony with WIPO Director General Francis Gurry. Collectively referred to as the WIPO Internet Treaties, they require countries to provide a framework of basic rights, allowing creators to control and/or be compensated for their work, particularly when shared on digital platforms.
They provide important economic incentives to creative individuals and companies in the new digital environment. Additionally, they provide a substantial legal basis for robust e-commerce, sustain the national copyright industries, attract investment, and protect local creativity. The treaties require other countries to provide full protection within their territories for Barbadian creators when their creations are disseminated abroad through global digital networks, and protects their interests against misuse or misappropriation, and ensures that they are adequately compensated for use of their works internationally.
The church in Barbados must remain a safe place for all those who need to find solace. Anglican Bishop of Barbados, the Very Reverend Michael Maxwell, says the church has a responsibility to be the space where people can come to find and encounter the presence of Christ. Bishop Maxwell was speaking during the first in a series of lunchtime lecture series hosted by the St. Mary's Anglican Church. He was speaking on the topic St. Mary's, an oasis in the city.
Therefore, the church as an oasis is to be able to stand out as a pleasant contrast to what seems to be the dry atmosphere that surrounds our lives, the harsh reality of the outer world. To take this understanding even a step further, the church as an oasis is not to be a place that is dry and has nothing to offer for life, but rather it is to be one to which persons can turn, maybe even unexpectedly, and find the living water to be refreshed and receive the sustenance and strength to overcome the wilderness experiences in life.
Bishop Maxwell says he has seen the demographic in the church change over the years, and it is now made up of a more mature congregation. He says the church must move to meet young people where they are and incorporate the use of more technology. Well, a lucky shopper of Sewing World department store has been rewarded for patronizing that city business. Quinton Goodridge received his prize from their summer promotion today. The top prize was a trip for two and $500 US, but Mr. Goodridge opted instead for the cash equivalent of the trip. Office Assistant Dolores Haynes says that she's very happy that a man has won the competition this time around.
We always tend to involve our customers in everything that we do, and I know that we're looking forward for Christmas and Independence, and we thank you for patronizing us throughout the year.
Mr. Goodrich, who has been shopping at Sewing World for the last 2 years, says he is very happy and will continue shopping.
I do my shopping and I spend $130. I understand the competition was going on. I write my name on the back of the slip. I didn't even look in to be a winner, but I'm happy today to be the winner.
The big story in regional news, Guyana's President David Granger announced late this evening that March 2nd, 2020 is the date for regional and general elections. In a statement to the nation, he said that since the passage of the no confidence motion in the National Assembly on December 21st last year, the government has respected the decisions of the courts and upheld the Constitution. President Granger said after discussions with the chairman of the Elections Commission and his cabinet, the earliest possible date for the holding of general and regional elections will therefore be on Monday, March 2nd, 2020. Caribbean community investment officials will meet in Barbados later this month to examine the reform of international investment agreements, including investor-state dispute settlement. CARICOM Forum on International Investment Agreements will take place from September 30th to October 2nd and will provide training and a platform for strategic discussion. Work has started for the first temporary relief site on Abaco for thousands of Bahamians left homeless by Hurricane Dorian. The Prime Minister expects that the first phase will be completed in the coming weeks, and we get more now in this Eyewitness News report.
The water has long receded in Abaco since Hurricane Dorian released his fury on the island, forcing more than 3,000 residents out of their homes and eventually to the capital. Government is now aggressively considering all options to have them return to their island to assist in the rebuilding efforts. The first phase is a family relief site that, according to officials, will include an estimated 250 housing units spanning across 12 acres of land in Marsh Harbor, north of Spring City. Now, many people assume that these structures are made from normal tent material like canvas. However, these experts say that these are made from polycarbon, which is used by militaries around the world and can last for many years. Officials from the Department of Lands and Survey and the Department of Housing traveled to Abaco yesterday to survey 4 areas of land identified as a potential site for the family relief site, expected to accommodate 2,000 residents when completed. Each temporary housing unit in the facility is expected to be outfitted with a sewage system, running water, and will include 2 bedrooms, a bathroom, a shower, and an open living space. Now, the DA just cleared this path, which will be made into the main road into the relief village for thousands displaced by Hurricane Dorian. While plans have yet to be formally revealed for the layout of the temporary relief facility, it is also expected to include a community kitchen capable of facilitating the preparation and delivery of hundreds of meals per day, a recreational facility, facilities for law enforcement and faculty, in addition to the temporary housing units. In addition to this, each unit will be able to accommodate 4 to 6 people, Eyewitness News understands.